All out. To the streets, motherfucker. Yo, this for my niggas in the streets. Fun cars in the Jeeps.
Welcome to Joe's Astrology Special Edition. Do y'all remember MASE? MASE and Betha. And by the way, the title of that song I was playing was You Ain't Smart. That's the title, You Ain't Smart. From Bad Boy Entertainment to Church Preacher. See if I can find him here. Where's he at? There he is. From Bad Boys to Church Preacher. If you haven't heard about MASE, search him on YouTube. He has a YouTube channel that he started about a year ago. He's now a preacher apparently, and he gave his life to the Lord. So let's dive in here and take a look. Okay, so MASE is a Sun, Venus in Virgo with a Venus retrograde. And that makes me think of Uranus with a Venus retrograde. That retrograde is pointing to Uranus. And we look at Uranus, and here it is at 29 degrees in Libra. So we can see already he has this emphasis on individuation. It's very important for MASE to be an individual. And we see this all the time in people's lives. They'll do whatever it takes to be an individual. If they have to be a pop star, they'll be a pop star. If they have to be a preacher at a church, they'll be a preacher at a church. They're not going to be part of the group. It's just not going to happen. So he also has, let's take a look at this Uranus, because again, we don't have the birth time, so we can't see the houses. He doesn't have any Aquarius. This Uranus is making a sextile aspect back to that Sun-Venus. And the Sun-Venus is moving away from, the Sun is moving away from the sextile, and Venus is moving towards the sextile. So he's coming into life with this energy. He already has it from a young age. And we see, obviously, MASE was a hip-hop star from a very young age. It's also making a square to his Saturn in Cancer. It's making a inconjunct to the Mars. And the moon could be, we don't know what degree the moon's in or if it's even in Taurus, but we can just say here it's in Taurus, probably a early degree, and that would be a opposition to Uranus. And Jupiter's making an opposition to Uranus, which I'm going to come back to. And it's close to the degree of the node. So, and Jupiter here, with Jupiter and with retrograde, he's got that redoing of his belief system, what he wants to teach and put out into the world. And that could be why you see him going from the rap world to the religious arena. Obviously, he woke up one day, and it is in the Sagittarius decan, the third decan here at 24 degrees. He must have woke up one day and saw that what he was putting out into the world wasn't very positive. Jupiter, optimism, positivity. He wanted to express himself at what he knows is a higher level, and I wouldn't disagree that that's not necessarily a bad idea or a bad move on his part. With that Jupiter-Uranus opposition, he is, I'd say he's an intelligent person. He has a good mind, an individual's mind. probably a more advanced mind. We also see his Mercury there at 25 degrees in Virgo, where it rules. So it's a good place to have Mercury. It's also making a sextile to Saturn. So you can see when he speaks, if you watch his preaching videos, he's very eloquent, and he knows what he wants to say. I mean, he's definitely a better speaker than me. He has that, even with Uranus there at 29 degrees. It's in the Gemini decan. He's got Mars in Gemini, where Mercury rules. But there is a separation there with that opposition between Jupiter and Uranus still. And this is something to be interesting to see as he gets later in life, what he's going to do, if he'll continue preaching, if he'll continue to be religious, and see where he goes, because he has that push-pull between Sagittarius and Aquarius with that Jupiter-Uranus opposition. Sun in Virgo and a moon in Taurus, with the south node being in Taurus, and the moon is moving towards the south node. The moon moving towards the south node, and the Venus is squaring the nodes. Here's Venus squaring the nodes. So we have a moon moving towards the south node in Taurus. We have a strong need for him to work this Taurus energy. So could that be money? This is a guy who, even though he gave up his career in hip hop, at least that we know of, he is one of those. He looks like he's got a lot of money as a preacher. He's got the nice clothes on, the jewelry. So this is a guy that's not giving up money in this life. Especially with that Venus moving away from that south node in Taurus, and the moon moving towards the south node in Taurus, he has a strong attachment to his materialism, and we can even see the type of church that he's promoting. It seems like one of those prosperity type organizations. And we see here he has Neptune moving away from that north node. So with that Neptune, that would be where you find the idea that he knows better, that he's a preacher, he's a teacher of some sort. He wants to help. He has that in him where he wants to do good. He wants to help people. That's where he's coming from in this life. Where he must have had some coming into this life. It's like he's as if he's had some experience with that. And also you could say with the hip hop and the rap, that he's coming from this grandiose place. That's Neptune too, like Pisces, dreamy energy, the big stage. And he also has this nice Mars Pluto trine, which I have in my chart. And that gives a person very strong, makes him very ambitious. And you can see it's in air, so he's intellectually very ambitious. It's always interesting to see these placements in people's charts. Like I grew up, MASE was one of my favorite artists. I definitely had his first album, Harlem World, his second album, Double Up. I think that was his second album. But those two albums in particular, that might have been only all he did, but it's just interesting to see the similarities in their chart and my chart. And you looking at that, you can see why you like these people. Sometimes you think it's just their music because you like their music. And even with Uranus at 29 degrees, I could putting that song on from the beginning just takes me back to high school. And like how much joy, MASE is bringing to people with his music. And now he's still doing it as a preacher. Now I think if I listen, I just before I started doing this, I played some of his YouTube videos, and he almost converted me. So we'll have to see. I think I'm gonna leave it there. There's a lot. I mean, there's so much more in the astrology that I could do, but these videos would be like an hour long. So please like the video. I'm going to continue to do more, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. And I hope you have a great day.